Hi everybody, it's just me again, and welcome to Vlog 11. Before I begin today, I would just like to make a little short comment on my previous vlog. I've always wanted to do something like that, and I have like tons of pictures on my computer, and I've always wanted to string them up and make like a progressing slideshow like that, but I've never actually had any reason to, so I thought it was really great that I finally had a reason to, and I'm glad it turned out so well. I do have to admit that one really good transitional photo didn't make it into the slideshow. It was this really nice one from a long time ago. I had about chin-length hair. Half of it was like brown and half of it was blonde because I had it dyed and then it grew out. But alas, my scanner is broken, so I was not able to get that picture in. So that kind of sucks. Anyway, I'm going to talk about today is rude people. Rude people. I think that the transgender population, above most any other population in the world, probably knows more than most people about how rude people can actually be. We get stared at a lot, we get laughed at, we get made fun of, people talk about us behind our backs, and, we're the butt end of jokes a lot of the times, and sometimes we're actually physically hurt. And I guess it drives people crazy if they don't know what gender someone is. It's just like, they must know. So, at the last job that I had, I got a lot of that. The worst was, one day I was just kind of hanging out in the register, blah, 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 and, no big deal. Got a little break in the customers. Of course, on Express, that hardly ever happens, so I was taking the time to, take a little breather and all. And one of the employees, told me, hey, you got to call on whichever line it was. I don't even remember anymore. And so, I kind of went, oh, well, that's kind of weird. No one ever calls me at work, not even my parents, unless it's like a dire emergency, so it must be an emergency. So I answered the phone and, I didn't know what to expect, but it turned out to be some college guy, and I'm guessing he was at some kind of party because I could hear a lot of commotion and music and going on in the background of the call. And once he found out that he was talking to me, he just flat out asked, are you a guy or a girl? And I'm guessing he probably went through my register earlier in the day with some people, and they'd been trying to figure out which gender I was. So someone finally called and asked, and I was just amazed at the audacity of this guy. To have the audacity to call and ask someone their gender, that's just amazing. I told him it was a really stupid question, and finally ended up telling him, yes, I'm a guy, just so he'd shut up and get off the phone, because I was starting to get busy again, and I really didn't want to be on the phone while I'm trying to talk to other customers. So anyway, I'm not sure why it bothered me, but it really did. I don't know why, because at this time, I should have been used to that stuff. It had happened many times previous to that. So once I actually got into a department at that job, things kind of lightened up a little bit, but I still had occasions where, that would happen. Once I came around this corner and saw these two college guys talking something over. I don't know what they were talking about, and one of them saw me and said, hey, ask her, she probably knows. So I'm like, oh, okay, they need some help. So I walked over, and in my guy voice, I'm just like, just, what can I help you with? And, the one guy just asked what he wanted to, and the other guy was just like, looking all confused and stuff. And once they actually got to the register and actually, started to pay, the other guys, he finally couldn't take it anymore, and he's just like, I don't mean to sound rude, but are you a cross-dresser or something? And I'm just like, no. I tried to make believe I didn't even know what the heck he was talking about. Of course, I obviously know what a cross-dresser is, but anyway, he's just like, okay, and just shut up. He never said another word. And, it's like, whatever, Of course, that's only the half of it. Over the time I worked there, I found out from, my short-lived girlfriend who worked close to customer service that people would actually go to customer service and ask the girls there, is that person on that register, is that a boy or a girl, It's just like, who cares, And they would ask other employees, they'd be coming through another register, it's like, is that person a guy or a girl, It's like, funny thing is, not even the employees knew sometimes. I remember one girl was telling me, she's like, she got asked that question, she's like, I don't actually know. It's like, cool. I don't know, it's just some people you could see them walk up and they would look at me and, they'd be like you could see them kind of raise an eyebrow and then, you could see their eyes kind of wander down to my name tag. Thing is, if my name had been like Mark or Eric or Tom or something like that, then, that would have been an instant tip-off. Okay, that's a guy. But my name was Terry, T-E-R-R-Y. Terry. I mean, I've seen plenty of girls spell it that way. And so it's like, you could almost see the disappointment in their faces. It's like, not even the name tag will give me any clue as to whether this is a boy or a girl. It's like, that's probably the only reason I've ever liked my given name. We don't even wear name tags at work now, so even though I have changed it to Serena legally, doesn't really matter because we don't wear name tags. Still, it's so hard to know what to do when people are so rude. You just want to scream. I mean, I was at work one day and, we got done with what we were needing to do, and I went up front to do something. I don't remember what I was up front there. My cousin happened to be checking up front, and she's like, hey, guess what? I got good news for you. You look like a girl. I'm just like, what is this, some kind of news flash? I knew that already. I mean, after 4 years of hormones, I kind of hoped that I would. And she's like, yeah, this guy just came through my line, and he's like, I don't want to sound rude or anything, but there's this stalker back there. He looks like a girl. And she's like, oh, is it that one with the really long dark hair? He's like, yeah, that's the one. She's like, yeah, she's a girl. And he's like, oh, well, geez, I'm sorry, she had such a deep voice, it kind of threw me off. And she's like, oh, yeah, voices vary like that. So, I just thought that's awesome, because she's actually covering for me. I mean, like I said, she's the one. If everybody acted like her, this world would be like a dream come true. Anyway, sometimes it's just like I want a tattoo on my forehead. Yes, I'm a girl. Please stop staring at me. People just come up and they'll just look at you. It's like, what, is there something hanging out of my nose or something? Quit looking at me! I usually try to be nice to everyone that I meet. I mean, sometimes just, smiling at somebody can diffuse a really uncomfortable situation. If they're staring, you can just, look at them and smile at them, and they'll just be like, ooh, she knows I'm looking at her. But yeah, I try to be nice to everyone, even though it's not always that easy. I never saw what my gender would matter at my job anyway. It's not like whether I'm a guy or a girl, it's going to make any difference how well I can do something. It's tough being laughed at all the time. I mean, I had to endure that through my entire school years, so I really don't enjoy having it done to me anymore. Still, I have to remember not to let it get me down, because as they say, she who laughs last laughs loudest. Something like that. I don't even know what that has to do with anything. Anyway, I'm going to do what makes me happy, because in the end, it doesn't really matter whatever anyone else says or does or thinks about me. As long as I can look in the mirror and I can be happy with who's staring back at me, that's all that really matters to me. So, I guess that's about all I have to say for right now. But in closing, I would just like to say, I hope everybody had a great week, and I hope next week is just as good as the one before. If it happened to be good, that is. If you had a crappy week, then I hope it gets better. But anyway, I hope everyone has a good day, and I will see you all next week. So, bye-bye, everybody. The Wink of Doom.